It's frog fishing time.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Now he's a pound. Now he's 5. Feels like a decent fish. Ooh, controllable, brother. It's a chunk. Not bad.
Something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Oh yeah, they're gonna hammer it. Big D here, chilling in the boat shed, rigging up some rods. Got my Lonkerville sign going on, got my Venom lures. Have it all tricked out. Do you like to frog fish like I like to frog fish? We're going to talk some frog fishing. Springtime frog fishing, not summertime, springtime. We're going to show you some footage, give you some tips. Nothing excites me more. You have little Mr. Frog, he's coming over lily pads, and they come up and they're... I don't know why I like that thing. It needs colic. Ugh. So I hope that intro got you guys all jazzed up. We're going to talk about some springtime frog fishing. It's a very difficult time to frog fish, but I'm going to give you some pointers, show you the baits I use. This is not summertime, remember. Summertime's totally different. And I'll do a summertime video later on, and at the end of the video I'll show you some summertime pictures from last year. The footage that I'll show you will be springtime from this year. I'm going to teach you how to frog fish, the way I like to frog fish. Maybe I'll give you some pointers. If not, you'll enjoy the footage. So we'll start off, we'll talk baits. My main time, big time, springtime frog is this guy right here. Right, it's made by Mega Bass, 3/4 ounce. What we'll notice about this frog compared to this frog, which is my main summertime frog, is the tail. Look at the tail. One's short, one's long. I'll explain why. So let's go back to this frog. What I like about this frog is, see the cup face? Right? This frog is made to not chug, not walk, but it's made because of the face to stay in one place for a long period of time. Another thing that I love about this frog is, if you notice when you press the hook, right, I'll get up real close, see if we can get up in there. See that? You see how long the hook is before it hits the bend? Okay, the reason why Mega Bass, which is one of the smartest companies in the world, came up with that is because you have all this penetration before it hits the curve. You stick them with this frog. I love this frog. I leave the tails long because vegetation at this point, especially matted vegetation, I don't want to fish a frog if it's not matted. You can. I would just rather fish a popper or spook, something like that. So I only like to frog fish when there's matted vegetation near. Now you could pull it off the matted vegetation and stuff like that and still fish it, but it has to be matted. Lily pads, whatever, hydrilla, milfoil, whatever mats up in your lake. Okay. We leave the legs long because at this point we're not going across what per se a carpet of grass. There's a lot of openings, a lot of holes, and we want that extra attraction because why? They could see the frog. Remember that, they could see the frog. So let's go back to frog number 2. I still use this in spring, but this is my summertime frog. This is a Spro King Daddy frog. Okay, if you notice, the Spro frog is not, the hook is not as long. Okay, I wish I could have the Megabass hook on this frog. I have trailers that I use sometimes. This frog is very reliable. It always lands on its belly, so you can use that trailer hook. I'm just afraid that the trailer hook's going to pull. Another thing you notice, the nose is pointy, right? This is a great walking frog. Okay, I love it. Very good walking frog. Okay, it's very good when you're going across heavy mats. It comes off the mat and then you could walk it. Very good frog. This weighs 1 ounce. Okay, I could cast this 10 miles. This one, 3/4 ounce, it goes about 9 miles. But not only do I throw a 1 ounce frog, I take the hole, right? I take the frog, pull it out like this, and I insert BBs into the hole. About 8 BBs, which gives it more weight, okay, and it makes you be able to cast further. And the main thing that you want, if you notice also, it's a keeled belly, okay, which helps it walk. But what it also helps is with the extra weight, when it hits the pad, right, it leaves a trench through the pad, where this one hits the pad and it just lays and it scoots over the pads, right? This one leaves a trench, which is why I like this in heavier stuff, because when it leaves that trench, one is you can see where you casted that frog and you made the trench. The second reason is because the bass could track it better. Okay, they can't track a lighter frog in heavy stuff. It's hard because it's scooting across the top. This is plowing across. Better summertime frog. Okay, so let's talk about a couple more baits that I love to use, and a couple I don't like so much. So let's start with the ones that I don't like. Look at this bad boy. These are a spider made by a certain company. It's the only company that makes them, I believe. When I saw these things, I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been waiting for. You have, the bigger one and the smaller one. I was so ready for this because I wanted to imitate a bug or a dragonfly coming over top. And you would cast this out and you would just shake it and it would look like a bug scurrying across the top. These things are absolute garbage. Okay, they're junk. I'm very, very, very I need things the right way. Okay, I don't want to be fussing with things while I fish. I want to fish. Okay, I'm very into fishing. Okay, I want to fish. If you notice in my video, I got to get better at it, that I really don't talk. So I have to talk to you now. I just don't want to take the time to talk. I want to fish. Especially frogs. I love frog fishing, blowing up through the pads. But the reason why these things are no good is, the first reason is, out of every 10 casts, 9 times it sinks. What kind of top water you want that sinks? It's no good. You could squeeze the water out, it still sinks. They're just designed poorly. The second reason is if you see in here, and I super glued this so it would help a little bit, but the legs are a second piece that fit in. And what happens is they get, if you keep them, a fish might bite it and they come right off. But you get little pockets in there, and that's how it fills up with water. You can't prevent it, and it does it fast. So every time you cast it, it just slowly starts to sink. Very disappointed in these. I think they're priced at like $9. Sorry, but don't like them. Not for me. Okay. Plus the hooks are a little bit too small for me. But if this thing floated, and I've tried everything, I tried to put silicone in them to make them float. It's not worth the effort. All right, so let's go on to more baits. So a secret bait that we used to use back in the day, and I know guys that make them now because they love them so much, because they're discontinued, is an Uncle Josh Porker or Porco. They're both the same thing. They were made at different times and all that stuff, and I have thousands of them in my garage, soaking up nasty, juicy, smelly stuff. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like those. 2 reasons. One, and they absolutely 100% catch monster fish. Not going to say they don't. They're a great bait, but they fall like this. That slow. I start to twitch. I can't do that. I can't wait that long. I need to fish. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. That's why I adapted my style of fishing. Is I fish finesse baits fast. That's just the way I do it. I can't sit there and dead stick stuff. It's just not me. To me, the next spot is better than the spot I am now. Although I don't move around a lot, but I'm talking about the next cast is going to catch one. This cast is garbage. You know what I'm saying? You'll see a lot of times, you'll see I'll hop the frog, I'll get to the edge, and I reel it in real fast. I got to get to the next spot. I got to work on that. Hasn't worked yet. So I came up, well, I didn't come up. I thought of what could I do that sinks a little bit faster, that has the same sort of profile, that will sink faster and I could catch fish on. And here we go. The Venom Beast. 7 inches, 7 3/4 inches. This thing is huge. Like, I can't, if you know what the Lungon spider looks like, it's a big boy. It looks exactly like the Porco, but it sinks faster. And I'll fish this on a weightless. Has to be weightless. Any weight, it'll start to nose down and fall faster. So you get the normal Senko fall, you get the wiggle and all that stuff. I will fish this on a 7/0 hook. Big monster hook. Love this bait. Throw it over the pads. The whole tail is wagging across the pads. The fish are tracking it. You let it fall in a hole or off the side, off the edge. Whoop, they crush it. And they hit it violent. Love it. Let's go to another one. If I want something a little bit more subtle, to come over the pads and not have the tail flapping and all that stuff, but still come over the pads with ease, I bring you the Venom tube, Mega Monster tube. I'm terrible with names. This is a tube, and this tube is 6 3/4, so the tail is down to there. I cut the tail in half. Because once again, I don't, in heavier stuff, I don't want a long tail. Because I don't want them to attack the tail, I want to attack the body. So you can get the hook into them. Very important. There's certain times where no matter what you do, they're not going to get the hook. They're just slapping at it. You got to let the frog lay there forever. I'm not going to let the frog lay there forever. So what I did is I flipped a bait into there with, 3/4, 1 ounce weight. You really don't got to go that heavy because they made a hole for you already. You flip it right in there, 70-pound braid, and just crush them. Hammer them, right? We hammer them. That's the word. So there we go. So there's the tube. Love this bait. I won't rig this weightless. Okay, I'll use the same rod, same 7/0 hook, except I'll put drop shot weight all the way up to the tip. Put the hook through the drop shot weight, Texas rig it, right? Now, that will make it, it'll hit, it'll go, and then it'll do the spiral down, right? If you want a Senko type fall on it, like that, you're going to get a bass casting weight with the ones made with a swivel on top. So you'll have the swivel take up this amount, it'll leave the hook, the weight right there, and now you'll get this fall. Okay, that's a tip. Depending on, sometimes they want it to spiral down fast, sometimes they're a little bit, you know, they don't want to do that and they want this. So there's another tip for you. Another bait, not venom. This is a Magambo grub. I love this frickin' thing. Look at this tail. That thing churns water. And we rig it upside down. We don't want it like that. We want it like that. It's going to give you more vibration. Okay, this is not a sight thing. This is a feel thing. Okay. There we go. That's it. I'll rig this on, 4-rod hook. I will rig it not on a swim bait hook. I want this on a regular hook with a weight peg to the front. And the reason why is you don't want it to fall like this. You want it to fall head first because this tail goes whoop, 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 all the way down. Great bait. Love it. Magambo grub. Last but not least, I'm getting excited now. I love this thing. Okay, we'll start off by, I hate buzz frogs. Like the rubber ones with the tail. I'm not talking about like a hard frog with a swim bait tail. I've seen those. I'm talking about the two tails in the back. The reason why is those tails never have enough action for me, and they definitely don't have enough action when you drop it on the fall, right? And some of them don't even fall, right? So I want to come off the edge of the pads, and I want it to fall, regardless of what it is, right? And that brings in the lobster. I love this freaking thing. Look at this bad boy. 6 3/4 inch, I believe, 1 ounce in weight. Look at the size of this freaking thing. 1 ounce frog. Look at this. This thing's a beast. The lobster. I call it the lobster. It's not called a lobster. I'll get the name for you. I gotta look up on Venom. I love this thing. So what we do with this is same 7/0 hook, same thing weightless, and you get the same thing as a horny toad, but easier. Look at these claws. Look at these claws. These things are flappers. They're not claws. And you cast it over the pads and you reel it in. It's awesome. And then you hit the edge and it falls, and you get on the way down. You don't get that with a horny toad or a zoom toad or a venom toad or toad. No toad does that. Okay, they just don't. Their legs are too stiff. Now give me one of those. Give me a venom, one of those buzz frogs on the back of a buzz bait. Now you're talking, because now the buzz bait's not going to fall. The bulkiness of it's going to keep it up. It's going to, have a little swim in the back. I'll take it. But here we go. The lobster. And this thing hits the edge and the tails go down and it's just gone. Goodbye. Gone. When you get a hit on this thing, man, your legs get weak. The lobster. Last but not least, I don't have one on me and I don't feel like climbing into the boat and digging one out. A swim jig. Swim jig. I'll use the smaller version, the Dream Craw, as a trailer, or I'll use like a paddle tail swim bait. Although I prefer craw type baits better, and that's more for around the pads and edges and stuff like that. And you just swim it. That's all you do. There's a great tactical bassing episode that they teach you about swim jigs and how, you see the pros, they're always doing this with their rod and they're trying to get the skirt to flare. And they tell you if you use the right trailer, then you won't have to do that. It'll do it on its own. And that, I watched that and it really helped me a lot. It tells you the difference between, not to use a swim bait like a Kitech because it's too soft and it wags too much. You want something more rigid with a harder plastic, so it makes the skirt go crazy and all that stuff. And also tells you how the lighter swim jigs have more natural action, and the heavier you go, you dull the action and all that lovely stuff. But it's a great article. So once again, I'm fishing these baits. Every bait except the Big Frog is on pretty much the same rod. It's on a Ardent, either their swim bait rod or their Alabama rig rod. Their broomsticks, they don't make them anymore, unfortunately. It was the Denny Brauer series. I use those. I use them on a C-Force reel, 7:0:1 gear ratio. They literally cast 15 miles. A little flick of the wrist and they just go. I'll fish them on Venom braid. I'll use 50-pound test on the Big Frog. You don't need 70. You could go to 70. You don't need it. And I go, everything else I go 30 because I just don't want them to see the line. So I want a little bit of thinner diameter. I'll color the end of it in black. You don't got to worry about Venom braid or really any other braid nowadays. It's so advanced from the old days that you used to set the hook, you get the fish, the next cast, boink, because the line dug into the spool. That really doesn't happen anymore. Well, it doesn't happen with the braid I use, which is a good thing. And the only thing I throw different is I throw the Big Frog on a I think it's a Fate rod. You'll see in the footage, it's the big green rod that I use, and I throw it on an 8:0:1 Daiwa Tatula. And there's two reasons why I do that. Well, a few reasons why I do that. One is because Ardent doesn't make a heavy enough rod for the Big Frog for me. I want a broomstick. I want no flex. The second thing is no Ardent reel will fit on that rod. That's why I don't like Fate rods I think it's, I don't want to mention the company, but their reel seat's really big, so you need a rod with a really big, thing to fit in. The C-Force and all that, they move too much. I don't want any movement, so therefore I use the Fate rod. Plus I like the green color, and it's a broomstick. I went to Dick's one day. I saw it. It was cheap. I tested it on. I liked it. I bought it. Also Ardent doesn't make an 8:0:1 yet in left-hand retrieve. So I hope you liked what I had to say. Look for further videos in the future. Also look for summertime frog fishing, which is the real time you should frog fish. Summertime is when you get the big boys that you don't know where these fish are. They're gone, and all of a sudden, whoosh! It's like throwing a cinder block into the water. It's awesome. I'll at the end of the video, I will put some pictures of last year's catches, and remember the size of this frog, and you'll see how deep they take this frog. It's kind of amazing. This is a big frog. I wish I'll compare it to a normal sized frog. This is a Lunker Hunt half-ounce frog. See the difference? Kind of awesome. Alright, I got a little bit more cleaning to do and rigging up to go fishing. I just want to say, I hope you enjoy the video, enjoy the footage. May God bless you, give you peace in your life, and turn to Jesus Christ if you have any worries in your life. It helped me out a lot. I have a wonderful wife, a wonderful home, and a lot of peace in my life. May God bless you. I'm out. If you notice, the first fish is going to hit right away. Lesson 1, always be ready. Now you'll see in this footage, I paused to adjust the trolling motor, which makes the fish commit. If I didn't pause, I might not have got the bite. Lesson 2, pause when you can.